Well, good evening and welcome to the September 14th meeting of the Penfield Conservation Board. We're joined here today with Roseanne Cohen, Daniel Moore, Paul Sugnett, Bert Gorton, Pat Schickler. Debbie Draw is our town board liaison. We have Doug Sangster, our town planner, and Catherine Dubrec, the junior planner. And welcome, Catherine, to your first Conservation Board meeting.
Thank you.
We'll look at the minutes first and ask if there are any corrections to be made to the minutes. The minutes are very detailed. Kind of like we captured every sentence. So I didn't find anything that I thought needed correction. Anyone else?
No, Jim.
So motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
And I hear no objections, so we thank you again, Doug, for those.
No problem.
Do we have any communications?
So I've been trying to forward on to you guys emails. There is an upcoming conference opportunity through the New York State Association of Conservation Commissions. We've been getting essentially save the date sent to us and been trying to forward them on to the board in case the board was interested in participating in that.
Okay. And I think we'll, if anyone has an interest in participating, I think that's something we can just simply do on our own. Is that correct?
That is correct, yep.
Yeah. So with respect to our board reports, we're looking at 2745 Penfield Road, Highland Estates. And I think that was Roseanne and Pat that looked at that. Which one of you wants to speak first here?
Okay. Well, let me start out by saying that I realize that there needs to be a correction on our project identification. We have 2735 Penfield Road. It should be 2745. Just caught that.
Both addresses are actually correct. When they first started out back in they looked at it a little bit as a sketch phase. It was only going to be on 2745 in discussions with the owner at 2735 because that property was purchased from the owner at 2735. They have now, their preliminary final submission included lots on both properties, so it'll span between the two.
Okay. All right. So technically, what should we have it as?
2735, 2745 Penfield Road.
So we still need an adjustment. Okay. So Roseanne and I did go out to visit, and we met the owner leaving the property, so we were able to introduce ourselves and not just be there without them aware of it. And it is, the project is currently zoned RA2 single-family residential. There's 2 tax parcels which they are going to combine in, as you said, 2 properties. And they want to create 16 new single-family residential lots, and there will be a total of 17 because one is already existing. That was the owner of the home that we met. Quite large home, quite substantial. And it'll involve construction of a dedicated roadway into the development. But this is going to be a 2-phase project that will involve the creation of 5 homes at the outset. And that is what they are requesting and looking to do at this point. So there's a number of E-pods, there's a steep slope and a water course, and they're even close to an agricultural building. Or excuse me, within an agricultural district, there's a historic building parcel, but they are, as far as the water course and the building, they are far from those, so we did not see any impact to any of that. The lots that they, one of the lots is, I don't know if you're able to, and I can't see if I can see it from here. One of the lots is really quite close and impinging on, I know I just can't read the lot number from here.
Oh,
Is
It
impinging
depends on which page you look at. We did notice when we were looking to reference lot numbers for that lot, the cover sheet, the site plan, and subplat all have different lot numbers for that lot. So I think we've been referring to it as Lot 15. It's an L shape.
Okay. It's, we're talking about the lot that is really pushing back into the steep slope, and they seem to have the houses angled for some reason, perhaps for sight or for appearance, but our question was, couldn't they move that forward closer to the new road so that they would not impinge on that steep slope at all? There was that. The other thing that we saw is that they have listed on Lot 1 a possible future pond, and we had not seen wording like that before. We usually see proposed future pond, not possible, so to maybe explain that further. And I think that we know we saw no trees of any significance. It's pretty well open land there. And so other than possibly reconfiguring the placement of the home on Lot 15 and explanation of the pond on Lot 1, we didn't have any issues. Roseanne, did you have anything?
no, it didn't seem to impact any of those E-pods, and they're not going to be that close together or anything. It looks like a nice piece of property up there. But they had a public
Gorgeous
hearing
area.
on it, right?
Pardon?
The other day?
Yes, we did. The planning board heard it at their public hearing last Thursday.
Were there any complaints or anything, or?
Most of the complaints we received, so we did have neighbors in Perrington. This property does. Its southern boundary is the town boundary with Penfield and Perrington. So several of the residents who came in were residents of Perrington off of Furman Road and Furman Heights. Most of their concerns are they don't want to see development in an agricultural area. They have a farm in Perrington. They're concerned that the additional houses could impact their farm, as well as concerns with residents who move in for that country feel and then complain about the country smell. Additionally, we had concern about the historic property. It is, the land is directly adjacent, but the house is not directly adjacent. There is 2709 is in between 2701, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and this property. As part of our Type 1, we did contact SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office, who has indicated that they don't have any concerns about the development and its proximity to the historic property. Also had several complaints from neighbors on Jamonda Way, mostly relating to they think 2 acres is too small for a lot, and they don't want to see additional homes on Penfield Road.
Can you show us where the farm property is in relation?
Yes, can you go to the GIS and drag down, or sorry, up. Drag up. I want to see the properties.
Sorry.
Down here. No, you're no worries. So pull down so we can get into Perrington a little bit. It just takes a second.
House
sometimes.
here, and the couches, I think,
There
are
you go.
like this and
This
this.
property right here.
So it's,
On Furman.
it's not right next door.
Doug, what kind of houses, size houses are they talking about?
Don't think they've been specifically defined.
Okay.
The developer is a custom home builder, so we're expecting them to be high-end homes. But he has not given a specific price range or size house that he's targeting.
So they're definitely not patio homes.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I shouldn't say that. I don't think he would be specifically opposed. I think he would build whatever a potential home buyer would like on the site. So if a potential home buyer wanted one of the 2-acre parcels for a large patio home, I don't think he'd be opposed to it.
It's a large piece,
It is a large piece of land for a patio home.
yeah.
What's the price range of the houses that they expect to put on?
I don't think we have a specific price range, but in our discussions with home builders right now, they're seeing home prices generally starting about $450,000.
It's like the subdivision over on Creek Street that they built next to on the Cook property.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those houses are monstrous, and price-wise, of course, too. And I looked at the layout here, and I see there's a lot of green space around the buildings that they show. And it'd be interesting to know, but as you say, it's custom building, so they can get their whatever they want on there. Okay.
Just for reference, Doug, the homes on Jamanda, are they more? They're more than 2 acres, each of them.
Yes, most of those are in the neighborhood of 3 to 7 acres.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
All of these lots meet the 2-acre minimum?
That's correct.
What's a DI, public water main extension? What's DI?
In there.
I'm blanking on it, but
Ductile
we could look that up.
Oh,
Ductile iron.
ductile iron.
That's what I'm
Okay,
guessing.
our engineering person
Thank goodness.
volunteers that. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Yeah.
Well, Paul.
Pretty impressed.
Yeah.
That probably doesn't mean that if I pull on the iron, it will actually give.
Not intended.
Okay, let's see, I found one little tiny thing. Observation 1, the word residential needs a T.
How did we miss that?
Residential, it's backwards. Residential.
Anyone have any other concerns that we ought to discuss? I guess at this point, we'll thank you, Pat and Roseanne.
It really is nice up there.
We have discussion coming up here on the arbors at Penfield mixed-use development.
Yeah, so we have 2 applications coming before the board, planning board in October that we wanted to bring before you. The first one here is the arbors at Penfield, which is the preliminary final submission of the Ralph DeTucci Morgan mixed-use development. It will be located on the northwest corner of Atlantic and 250. It is quite a substantial project. In its full form, we'll stretch the properties essentially from 250, or from Atlantic up to Penfield Center Road on the west side of 250, and there's another 25 acres on the east side of 250. So it'll be about I think it's about 90-acre development when fully built.
So that, on the east side, will be directly next to Clark Animal Care?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
At this
And that large barn of a house that's across from Clark Animal Care, that's going to be coming down then, is that right?
That is correct, yep.
And the fire department going to take advantage of that?
I believe so. I believe the fire marshal's been in contact with Penfield Fire Department to possibly do a controlled burn. But I don't believe that has been solidified officially.
So tell us more about what's going to go in this mixed-use development.
So it does span sort of all three of the mixed-use zones. At this point, they're coming in for phase one, which will be mostly their high-intensity vertical mixed-use buildings. So the intention, if you just pull up the bottom one, we can run through the plan. So they're going through phase one. It'll comprise mostly zone A and B, which is our highest intensity mixed use. So it'll be vertical mixed use, commercial, generally retail or office on the first and second floor, residential above, higher intensity residential uses, such as they have a combination of single family, duplex, triplex, and quadplexes, as well as the highest intensity they'll have several apartment buildings as part of it. In addition, they're looking to do some additional commercial components throughout the development, focusing on sort of a centralized community center. Right in here will be sort of a community center with sort of a village feel. Their intention is to sort of best way to describe it is something like a village setting. So the buildings will be closer to the road, look more traditional. Pull up the rendering. It's not in that folder, back a folder, under elevations. And do the one for the vertical mixed-use buildings, just one of those. So they'll have a more traditional, look like a turn-of-the-century style village that is pedestrian-centric with wide sidewalks, parallel and off parallel parking, complete streets, with pockets of residential around it.
You said parallel parking?
Yes.
What population of people do they envision attracting to these residences?
The intention would be a diverse cross-section.
Okay.
So some of the duplexes and single-family residents, they expect to be popular with families, apartments, young people and seniors. The vertical mixed use would be more probably young adult oriented. But they will have, some of the duplexes will be sort of patio home style, so it'll have a diverse cross-section of population.
And the tallest building would be intended to be how many stories?
4 stories. It is the maximum allowed in the mixed-use zone A. I believe most of them would be under that, though, and the intention is, and they will be talking to the planning board about this, the way we have the zones drawn right now, the intention was to have the highest intensity uses right around the intersection of Atlantic and 250. They're looking to do a little bit of reconfiguring between Zone A and Zone B so that they could do sort of a stepped approach, so that from Atlantic Avenue you would start with lower story buildings. As you worked your way into the development, the buildings would get taller, and then as you worked your way further north towards Penfield Center, they would get closer to single and 2-story, like traditional homes. And then in future phases, Zone C is right along Penfield Center Road. It's essentially equivalent to our RR1, 1-acre zoning district. So the folks on Penfield Center Road would see something very traditional in what they're used to. Their intention right now is not to develop out onto Penfield Center Road, so they'll be buffered from the development.
Are there any commercial enterprises that have already expressed their intent to locate here?
At this point, the developer has not given us any indications of whether they have. I do know back in their sketch phase, they did do 2 sketch plans back in 2018 before the planning board. They did have some early contracts with medical office use, but they weren't allowed to share who it was, because the contracts weren't signed at that point.
Would convenience stores be allowed here?
A typical C-store would be discouraged. A neighborhood-oriented grocery might be more suitable. So the intention would be big box is discouraged in favor of smaller, more neighborhood style. We don't want a 200,000 square foot Walmart wanting to come in here. But we would allow them if they did have a more urban style neighborhood store, similar to ones they've done in other areas, or if Wegmans wanted to do a pocket store that was smaller than their traditional 108 to 115,000 square foot grocery, they could do a smaller neighborhood grocery in there.
Convenience gas station allowed?
Gas stations are not allowed.
How about things like hairdressers?
Those are allowed.
Okay.
Are they hoping to explicitly be able to attract any doctor's offices?
I don't know if they've, what commercial or office uses they've talked to or who they've talked to. They generally tend to hold that a little closer until they've gotten contracts signed and they can disclose it.
You looking to move there?
No, I'm planning to become a hairdresser.
You're sneaky.
So, what do you need from us?
This is on the edge of an agricultural area. 250 has sort of been the gateway between West Penfield, East Penfield for as many people consider it. If the board is interested in taking a review of the application and providing your thoughts on ways the applicant can preserve any natural areas or best practice good environmental conservation with how they do their site layout and their design.
I know on the west side of 250, I mean, that's all just farmland, because are they going back and get a point where there are there's a tree line back there? Are they staying to the east of that?
They're staying mostly to the east of the tree line. There isn't a lot of tree growth on the properties. They all were historically farmed.
Yeah, I know. Used to stop at the farm market that was just down from the house they're going to potentially burn down, that had the young man that used to stand out there and wave at everybody as behind it. But and then the one on the east side, I don't know, can anybody? I can't picture that property quite as well as I can the west side.
I got a second.
This is PCTV starting here. Please make sure to use your microphones and keep them fairly close to you. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, the east side, isn't that where they're going to put that driving range once?
I'm
10
not
years.
familiar.
Yeah, Paul.
That was before your time.
I think you're right,
Yeah.
Paul. That's where it was.
Because if I remember, even that is all pretty much open, because it used to be, I think it was owned by the guy that owned the farm on the west side.
I believe so. I believe most of the
Because he
properties
used
were
to
owned by the
farm, I
same
know his
family.
corn, he had corn on both sides of the road.
Oh, that's right.
So by the looks of that, I don't know if there's much out there from an environmental sensitivity standpoint, but
I think it's sloped pretty much to the east.
yeah, it drops from the road down.
It drops
yes.
off a fair amount, yes.
So if we want to take a look at it.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what's on the eastern boundary of that eastern property.
There's really no e-pods on the site. No wetlands that we could find.
Just
It's
trees.
not within the floodplain. It's mostly at this point vacant farmland that just hasn't been farmed
Yeah, I think
in a
it's,
number of years
Jim, it's a
now.
lot like, right, so the whole west side of 250, we've seen a couple of things, with the Y up through to the recent stuff going north of the Y
Right.
and all that. It's the same thing over there. You can kind of see from the picture and stuff, that it's all pretty much open meadow to,
Yeah.
you get back to a tree line from his old farming days but it's essentially, both of those are his fields. I don't
Yeah.
know who the family was that owned
Yeah.
that farm market there, but I used to get our corn from them way back when and stuff. But, so I think it's pretty much all open field, but if we want to take a look.
It's pretty open there.
How's it, infrastructure out that way, right? So you start talking a lot of buildings, traffic kind of coming in and out, and then obviously water and sewers.
Water has capacity. We met with the DOT, and we have been encouraging more proactive looks into the mixed-use development district as it develops further south and up here. We have made them aware that this project is coming in. We met with them specifically about the two projects that were going in where Grossman's was and the property across the street from that, because there will likely be changes to 250 that are required to support all these developments, mostly looking at something like a center turn lane or turn pockets. It would be my hope they reduce the speed limit, but it's a state road and I don't have a say in that. Sewers, they are proposing to do sewer upgrades both for this development. It will have to serve the region, so other areas would have to be able to tie into it. And as part of it, they will be doing a sewer upgrade between Jackson and Wayland, where we currently have some old pipe that was laid in the 60s that is not in great shape. They will be replacing that and upgrading it. So they'll be doing some off-site sewer improvements as part of the project.
And is there much detail yet around stormwater management? Kind of to Jim's point, if I remember rightly, on the parcel to the east side, that similar to what we did up there at the corner of 250 and Sweets Corners, it drops. A lot of that property tends to, from the road, you drop down 5, 6, 7 feet.
Right.
If I remember rightly, that's that same type of drop-off at that one, like you and I know Paul was going to join you and couldn't virtually, but that one right there on the corner, same type of thing. It drops and.
So there is a low spot on the west side of the property. So their western property neighbor over there is the gun club. There is a low spot over there where they are proposing one of their primary stormwater facilities, which they'll be installing as part of phase 1. Additionally, there will be additional smaller stormwater facilities. So they're showing one right along 250 on the northwest corner, just past where the old gas station was that was knocked down. There'll be a smaller pond there. There will be other upgrades that are installed as part of later phases as well.
The sewer upgrades, will those primarily service the 250 corridor, or will it also improve the sewer capacity on Atlantic?
It'll primarily serve the 250, both the north side, and we're having them look at the south side of Atlantic there as well, because they are proposing to run the sewer along the south side of Atlantic Avenue to an existing pump station we have just east of Town Hall here. Atlantic west of Mallory Lane is all served by sewers existing. Most of the capacity upgrades that they'll be doing downstream, so between Jackson and Wayland, are to replace pipes that are they're aging. They're running through the Hipbrook area, and there's just pipes that they either have negative pitch and other issues just from 50, 60 years of service. And so they'll be going through there and upgrading those with newer pipes and larger diameter pipe.
Okay. Well, When would you need our report for this?
They'll be coming before the planning board on, I believe it's October 9th, 8th? On October 9th.
Okay, so we need a report for our October meeting. That's October 5th.
Oh,
And,
sorry. October 14th, and our meeting's on the 7th. I was looking at the wrong month.
Oh, our meeting is not on the 5th?
Ours is on the 5th.
Or, sorry, it is on the 5th.
Ours is on the 5th.
Yes, yours is on the
Yeah.
5th.
Okay, so volunteers for this project?
I'd be happy to, Jim.
Paul,
Yeah.
you would be happy to?
Yeah, I'll participate with Paul.
Okay, so Bert and Paul, I think that would make a great team, and we thank you guys. So, all right. Well, that was a good overview, Doug. Thank you for that. The review of ongoing projects, do you have anything else you'd like to
So
bring
the
to our
other
attention?
October project we have is a simple subdivision up on the corner of Plank and State Road. Sorry, Plank and Salt Road. There is an existing single-family residence that has historically been part of a farm. They're getting to the age that they're not utilizing or actively farming it. I believe they've been leasing it out. They're looking to sub out the house and a couple of lots and to sell off the property. So that is coming to
Which corner is it?
It's the southeast corner of Plank and Salt Road.
How many acres?
I believe it's a little over 15.
Because that's that big farm on the west side, right?
Yes,
That's the fire.
15.1.
Isn't that the fire district?
Yes, that is the Northeast Joint Fire District.
Yeah.
So the property to be subdivided is about 15 acres?
Mhm.
And
So
they're only going to subdivide it into 3 parcels?
I believe, so the intention is to pull the house out on a little over 3-acre parcel, do 2 smaller frontage lots along Salt Road. That'll be code compliant. And then the remaining acreage in the back will be subdivided off as a large parcel. I believe the intention is either to sell it to the farmer who's currently leasing it or to just sell it off as a farm parcel to another farmer. And then a small portion of property will be transferred to 14, I think it's 1409 or 1402 Salt Road, which is currently owned by I believe the property owner's son. So they'll be transferring some property to that parcel as well.
So one parcel will become 4, and they're adding the property owner's son has a 5th that's already separate, and he's going to be getting some of the land.
Yep. Yep, his rear property line will be brought up to be equal to what lots 2 and 3 are. There directly to the north.
So this project have a name?
The Scafaro subdivision, they're not seeking site plan approval, so at this point, they'll just be carving up lots.
Strictly a subdivision.
Just strictly a subdivision.
Strictly a sub. Okay.
See the issues. Straight subdivision.
So how are you handling this? Is this just an administrative review then, or?
No, it does go before the planning board. Anytime lots are created or destroyed, it does require approval by the planning board. Since there is not site plan approval, if they were to sell off, say, Lot 2, the future owner would have to apply for site plan approval from the planning department. We can do that as a single-family residence on an existing lot. We can review that administratively and approve it. It does save, this is relatively common, it saves on engineering costs because they don't have to do site design or things like perk tests since this is an area with septic. That would be on the future property owner.
I'm trying to decide if there's really a role for us here.
We don't usually do anything on just a strict subdivision,
Yeah.
until they're looking, until
Yeah.
a plan comes to, I want to do something to it. This is just
That's-
parceling up some land.
That's where I'm
Yeah.
coming out too, so.
I don't think there's any
Okay.
issues for us at this point. Because we'll always have the opportunity when they come back to then make a comment.
Anything else?
Taking a look at ongoing projects, the planning board just approved a single-family residence on Clark Road. They're expanding an existing house that's there from the early 1900s, late 1800s. They're adding on to it that required planning board approval. We have a lot of admin applications, just single-family residences on existing lots that are under review or recently approved. So there was one on the corner of Plank and 250. Lot most notable for the fact that there's a little pull-off there that people dump couches on. So that will have a single-family residence on it. 2 on Penfield Road, east of Fellows Road. There's 2 empty lots there that will have single-family residences here in the future. Staff and the planning board are still reviewing the Pathstone mixed-use development. They're making good progress, but it's not in a place where I believe they're going to be approving it yet. Across the street, the Penfield Heights mixed-use application was denied by the planning board in a rare denial from that board. It didn't meet several of the zoning requirements. Yes, the one on the east side of 250 there was denied. The Pathstone one on the west is still under review. What else is going on in town? We have the 17-lot subdivision. That is most of the active projects currently under development right now in Penfield. The subdivision off of Old Jackson Road is ongoing. Just drove through there. They have their model home complete and 2 other homes under construction. There's a subdivision, Shady Rock, off of Scribner Road, right across from the elementary and middle school. That's currently, they've got 3 houses under construction in there. So it's starting to develop out.
Quick question, Doug. I know it's been talked of and way back when, but what's that building that's going in there by Dunkin' Donuts and Salvatore's Pizza? What used to be the old Verizon building in that plaza, corner of 250 and 441? They're
It's a
constructing-
Starbucks.
Oh, yes, that'll be a Starbucks.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so there was a Starbucks
Probably
there a
knew that
few
at one
years
time.
ago.
My wife asked me the other day, and I said, I've long since forgotten if we talked.
Yeah, so there's the
That's gonna be a
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
That's going to be a Starbucks. The former M&T Bank at the intersection of Creek and Empire is going to be Chipotle. That one's currently under construction. Where the former Tom Walls was on Empire Boulevard, just before you get into Webster, is going to be an urgent care. Let's see, what else is they building?
The Burger King up at
There's the Burger
250?
King up on 250. Yep, so just north of Panera, and there's a 3-unit building there. There'll be a Burger King. If you pull down 2146 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road,
So right across from Target.
right across from
Yeah.
Target. Yep.
Yep, correct.
I like Burger King better than McDonald's. I didn't realize I was going in, and I'm right around the corner.
Health alert.
Is there going to be a drive-through there?
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe so.
For the Burger King, yeah.
Yep.
But you guys will be happy to know that the town board was really adamant about the original plans that they had for the
Architecture.
building. We went back and forth on it, windows and making sure it was really a building that if we had to have a fast food drive-in, facility up there. We wanted it to look good. If you look at some of the Burger Kings when you go around town now, they're doing this new concept where there's not a lot of windows, a lot of just stone. And we were really held tight on that, and they came back to us at the meeting, the work session last week, and they were fine to stick with their original plan.
Good.
And so we were happy about that because, for the community up there, it's, I think, I was really happy to see that because I don't think the residents want to see institutional-looking buildings
Sure.
up and down the road. I don't, but.
Cool.
Is the Simply Crepes place stalled out, or is that going to go ahead?
Nope, it's they're nearing, so we're nearing the engineering construction phase, so I don't have a tentative open date for them yet, but they're sort of in their final build phase. We're doing our punch list of final items for them to complete prior to giving them their C of O.
Where is that going to be?
That is 1229 Bay Road.
It was the jewelers?
Yeah, I forgot the
Yeah.
name of the jewelry store, but
Oh,
it's
yeah,
right
yeah,
next to, I think it's Steinmiller's.
West Jewelry, is that?
Yes,
I think
West
it
and Co.
was
Jewelry.
correct, yeah.
I don't go up there. This is right.
Okay, that's a good review, thank you. Does anyone on the board have anything they'd like to bring to our attention?
The EMC meetings, I think it's next week. I just got an email about it. It's another Zoom meeting they're doing.
It's next week.
Next
And
week.
this is another
Zoom.
remote.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just hatching over what happened over the summer in different towns and stuff.
Yeah.
So, Roseanne, I think you're finishing 2 years.
Pretty soon. I don't know when I started.
Do you want to do a third?
No.
I didn't think so. So we need a volunteer for that.
How often do they meet
Once a month.
But not,
and when?
Summer's off.
they meet September through May.
Yeah.
What
That's
day?
It's like at
Where
4 o'clock on a
At- Yeah, 4 o'clock on what,
Wednesday. I think.
Wednesday.
Like a Wednesday, once a week or once a month.
Yeah, I'll volunteer.
You're the best.
All right.
But they haven't.
Give me till,
met
like,
as a group
December.
In a year and a half.
Okay. Yeah, that's
We're
fine.
talking first of the year.
First of the year's fine.
Well done,
retired.
Bert.
Only a couple more
Well
meetings.
done.
They're, sometimes they're
Well
kind of interesting, sometimes not.
When they meet together, they meet in the medical examiner's office.
That's where they used to meet, but
Yeah.
then they were going to move it. didn't they?
The last time I was there, it was there. I don't know.
Are they
Yeah.
getting more proactive?
Yeah, one time years ago, my wife dropped me off, and she came back to pick me up and rang a bell, and they said, she said, "I'm here to pick up my husband." And they said, "Do you know where you are?"
You had your hearse?
Well, it's a pretty small room, so I think they were trying to find someplace bigger to meet, but
Debbie, is there anything you'd like to bring to our attention from the town board?
I think I mentioned, the Burger King, I think that was a big, as far as relating to what's going, as far as projects in the town. The one other thing is, I don't know, the Rudy Newfall mentioned to us about some possible, I don't know, Doug, are you aware of that? The possible rezoning he might want on that?
Yeah, so
The land on-
he's looking at a unique little property, search 1345 Shoecraft Road. So it's a uniquely shaped property wedged in a triangle between State, Plank, and Shoecraft. So he came and talked with the Comprehensive Plan Committee a couple weeks ago now, interested in rezoning the property to a higher density. It's currently RR1. Most of the properties around it have been rezoned to R120 to fit the size of the lots that were developed. At one point, most of the town had been rezoned or had been zoned for half-acre development, and most of the houses around there were built in the 50s and 60s. So he's looking to do R120 with the intention of doing smaller lots or townhomes and possibly a senior facility.
The one thing that he mentioned to us on the board, which I thought was really intriguing for us and we liked, a big borders, leaving all the trees 20 to 30, at least 30 feet. In fact, I think even more. Similar to, I think he's only got 20 feet at the Barclay Park, his townhome development out there. And I've been in there quite a bit, and it's a pretty nice buffer that he's got in there. So even having a bigger one at this, I think would be a nice, would be something that would
Yep,
be.
the intention would be you wouldn't see the homes from the road, so they'd be well buffered.
Is that odd-shaped lot where the
Yep.
cursor
Yes.
is?
Yep.
That
Yes.
was really, that's it as far as what's been before us on.
They
This
should
summer.
get a good deal on fire insurance
Yep.
with the firehouse right there. Okay, well, that, we'll look forward to seeing that. So I have a feeling that we're running out of things to discuss. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Seconded.